Buried in your pocket change right now might be something far more valuable than you ever imagined, a tiny metallic mystery with a face you've seen 1,000 times but never truly looked at, a coin so deceptively ordinary that it's been passed from hand to hand for decades, hiding in plain sight, but collectors are stunned by what lies beneath its surface, and before you spend another nickel, especially one stamped 1976 with a little D under Monticello, stop everything, because this one mistake could be worth thousands, and what you thought was just another old coin could be your hidden treasure, the kind that transforms an average day into the most unforgettable find of your life, because the 1976 D Jefferson Nickel isn't just another commemorative coin minted during America's Bicentennial celebrations, it's a ticking time capsule, a rare anomaly in the history of American currency, packed with secrets, errors, and minting mistakes that have sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, and it all begins with one question that has left even seasoned collectors breathless: how can a coin made in the millions be worth thousands, tens of thousands, even more, simply because of a flaw, a moment in time when the US Mint blinked, when machinery hiccuped, when human error birthed rarity, and the answer lies in a perfect storm of circumstances that collided in Denver in 1976. A year already filled with celebration, confusion, and transition as the mint ramped up production for the bicentennial coins, quarters, halves, dollars, all redesigned to reflect America's 200th birthday, yet in this sea of change, the humble nickel stayed the same on the surface, but behind closed doors, something rare and irreversible happened, because within the mass production came flawed planchets, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, and even the near-mythical full steps variety that collectors desperately seek, where Monticello's steps are sharp, uninterrupted, and perfectly struck, so rare because the dies used for nickels often wear fast and strike soft, and to find one with full steps, especially from 1976 D, is like uncovering a ghost, an error coin that escaped unnoticed and now commands small fortunes at auction. And don't spend this until you watch, because there's more. Die clashes where Jefferson's bust is visibly marred by outlines of Monticello from the reverse. Repunched mint marks where the D is doubled or tripled, or even struck in the wrong place entirely, off-metal errors where a nickel was mistakenly struck on a penny's copper planchet or even on a dime's thinner silver-colored one, coins that shouldn't exist yet somehow do, anomalies that slip through quality control and into circulation where only the most eagle-eyed finders have reaped the rewards, and the rarity isn't just about condition, it's about history. About the fact that the Denver Mint in 1976 faced immense pressure to churn out billions of coins, and in that chaos, the unexpected happened, with misalignments, cracks in the dies, cuds on the rim, lamination errors, and all sorts of jaw-dropping mistakes now considered jackpot finds by collectors. And imagine holding a coin like that in your hand, brushing your fingers over a Jefferson that looks subtly off, his face ghosted by doubling, the reverse skewed ever so slightly, or the metal oddly colored, and not knowing you're holding a piece worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. And what makes this even more spine-chilling is that many of these valuable 1976 D nickels are still out there, ungraded, unrecognized, floating in old jars, bank rolls, garage sales, drawer bottoms, and yes, even in the change you got from coffee this morning. And what if you already spent it, unknowingly gave away a coin that could have paid for your next vacation, your rent, even a down payment, all because you didn't know, because no one ever told you that the US Mint's 1976 production line at Denver became a perfect storm of overworked dies, rushed employees, and overlooked errors that turned trash into treasure. And if that wasn't enough, let's talk about condition, because a 1976 D Jefferson nickel in average condition might not raise eyebrows, but one with full luster, no scratches, and especially with those sought-after full steps can sell for thousands, and if it has a dramatic minting error on top of that, you're looking at a five-figure coin that could turn even a casual collector into a viral success story, a numismatic hero whose story spreads across YouTube and social media as the person who found fortune in a 50-cent coin flip at the flea market or in a dusty old drawer inherited from a grandparent. And if you think that sounds too good to be true, just look at auction records, where Jefferson nickels from this exact year and mint have sold for eye-popping amounts, from $3,000 to over $15,000 depending on condition, rarity of the error, and whether the buyer was a competitive collector ready to outbid the rest. And it's not just about money, it's about the thrill, the chase, the idea that a seemingly worthless object can be hiding untold value, that our entire monetary system has little pockets of magic tucked inside it, invisible to most but glaringly obvious to those who know what to look for, and now you're one of them, and from this moment forward, every time you see the back of a nickel and that tiny D underneath Monticello with the 1976 date staring back at you, you'll remember this video and wonder, could this be the one, the holy grail, the coin that changes everything? Because when coins are misstruck, improperly planchet, or double-dyed, their value doesn't just double, it can explode, and don't forget, some of these nickels were accidentally struck on 40% silver planchets meant for other coins or even on foreign coin blanks by mistake. And these are the unicorns of the numismatic world, the ones that cause bidding wars and make the headlines, and right now you have the chance to become the next big discovery because these coins weren't made for collectors, they were made for circulation, which means they're hiding in places most people never look, and the longer you wait, the more likely someone else finds them first, which is why you must check every 1976 D nickel you come across, study the details, examine under magnification, because a tiny doubling or an extra step on Monticello might be the only thing between a 5-cent piece and a 5-figure prize, and don't ignore damaged-looking coins either, because what looks like damage could actually be a valuable mint error, a clipped planchet that looks like a bite was taken out, or a die break that caused a dramatic raised line across the coin, all of which are highly collectible, and to think these are still being spent, lost, ignored, mistaken for trash, while their true worth remains a mystery to millions, which is why watching to the end of this video could make you one of the few who truly understand the scope of this hidden treasure, a silent revolution in the world of coin collecting where knowledge is more powerful than luck, where a simple glance with the right insight can lead to a life-changing discovery, so don't dismiss any coin again, especially the 1976 D Jefferson nickel, because history has proven that the biggest fortunes are often found not in treasure chests, but in change trays, and if you've made it this far, you now have the knowledge that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, so check your pockets, your piggy banks, your parents' junk drawers, and every coin roll you can get your hands on, because these coins are still out there and waiting to be found by someone just like you, and before you go, remember, subscribe now if you never want to miss another life-changing tip, share this video so others don't spend their fortune away, and above all, never overlook your change again, because your hidden treasure might already be in your hands. Next 2015, P Jefferson Nickels USA coins. What if I told you that the change jingling in your pocket right now, yes, that dull, ordinary-looking nickel you were about to toss on the counter, could secretly be worth thousands of dollars, and even more shocking, it might be one of the most valuable hidden treasures in American coin history. Welcome to a revelation that's flipping the numismatic world on its head, where a single overlooked coin, the 2015 P Jefferson Nickel, is leaving collectors stunned, experts baffled, and everyday people unknowingly holding on to fortunes without a clue. Don't spend this until you watch, because this one mistake, this one seemingly insignificant detail, could be the key to unlocking thousands of dollars sitting quietly in your jar of change, and we're diving deep into the hidden history, the minting mysteries, and the overlooked chaos behind one of the most shocking coins ever released by the US Mint, a coin whose value is skyrocketing not because it's old, but because it's rare in a way no one saw coming, because something happened in 2015, something quiet and barely noticed, yet it created a ripple in coin collecting that continues to grow into a tidal wave of interest, a story of mistakes, misplaced dies, double strikes, off-center madness, and chilling die breaks that turned a regular 5-cent piece into a beacon of unexpected wealth, a beacon you might already possess, a beacon buried in your pocket, your drawer, your couch cushion. And while millions of these nickels were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, the infamous P Mint mark betraying its origin, not all of them are equal, not all of them obey the rules, and hidden among the masses are error coins so dramatic, so shockingly unique, that they've sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars, under the radar. Quietly, at auctions where seasoned collectors whisper to each other in awe, where photos of strange doubling, abnormal planchets, and warped Jefferson faces ignite bidding wars, and if you think this is just hype, consider this. One known 2015 P Jefferson nickel struck off center by more than 50% recently sold for over $1,200, and that's just the beginning. Others have emerged with bizarre cut breaks where chunks of metal are missing from the rim, or mysterious, floating steps where Monticello's staircase appears detached from reality, and still others show signs of dramatic die clashes, as if ghosts of other coins collided during minting, leaving phantom images behind, and you have to wonder, how many of these are still out there, unrecognized, quietly changing hands for face value, and why hasn't the world caught on yet? Why are these shocking anomalies hiding in plain sight? And why might you be the next person to uncover one of the most valuable errors of the decade? Just by checking your change, and the answers lie in the tragic perfectionism of the US Mint, which despite its technological advancements, sometimes fails, sometimes misses things, and those failures become goldmines for the lucky and the watchful. And if you think the 2015 P Jefferson nickel is too new to matter, remember that modern coins with rare errors are among the most volatile in value. Because no one expects them, no one saves them, and suddenly when collectors realize the scarcity, the frenzy begins, the prices surge, and the overlooked become the most sought after. And what makes this even more urgent is the fact that most people don't even know what to look for. Most people are spending their fortune without a second glance, which is why you must pause, why you must take every 2015 P Jefferson nickel you find and examine it under a magnifying lens, looking for those subtle signs. The soft doubling in Jefferson's eye, the cracks creeping through the fields, the weak strike that reveals an improperly annealed planchet, because one of these features, just one, could launch your coin into legendary status, into the record books of numismatic treasure. And let's not forget the full step examples. Those sharply struck nickels with clearly defined steps at Monticello's base are a rarity in themselves. And one in pristine MS-67 condition with full steps sold for over $3,000 simply because it survived minting in perfect form, and imagine the value if it had a rare error on top of that perfection. Now you're talking about life-changing money, a coin that could rival some of the most famous errors ever known. And if you're thinking this is just a fluke, think again, because every year the market for modern era coins grows, driven by social media, viral stories, and collectors hungry for the next hidden gem, and the 2015 P Jefferson nickel has become ground zero for this movement, especially after a few high-profile auctions revealed just how valuable this simple 5-cent piece can become, especially when paired with something as simple as a rotated die, a missing clad layer, or a dramatic misalignment that transforms it from ordinary to extraordinary. And that's what this video is about, uncovering the mystery, decoding the history, and unlocking the treasure buried in this unassuming coin. So stay with me until the end, because we'll reveal the most valuable known examples, the exact traits you need to search for, and how one collector turned a roll of nickels into a windfall just by knowing what to look for. So whatever you do, don't click away, don't throw your change in the tip jar, and don't dismiss the small silvery coin in your pocket as worthless, because if you do, you could be walking away from a hidden fortune, from a piece of American coinage history that blends mystery, mistake, and money in a way that's rarely seen. And as we peel back the layers of this story, coin by coin, cent by cent, we're going to show you just how easy it is to miss something extraordinary, and how simple it is to catch it if you just know where to look. So watch closely, take notes, and for the love of history and treasure, hit that subscribe button now, because the tips and secrets we reveal could very well change your life, turn your junk drawer into a goldmine, and make sure you never overlook your change again, because the 2015 P Jefferson nickel might just be your ticket to a hidden treasure you never knew you had. Next, 1986, P Jefferson nickels USA coins, where what you think you know about pocket change is about to be shattered. Because what if I told you that an ordinary-looking 1986 P Jefferson nickel, one you might already have lying forgotten in your kitchen drawer, tossed in a jar, or jingling unnoticed in your car's cup holder, could secretly be one of the most valuable coins in the United States, worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars due to a tiny overlooked error that even seasoned collectors once missed. And the moment you find out why, you'll never look at nickels the same way again. So don't spend this until you watch, because collectors are stunned, experts are in disbelief, and one small detail in a coin minted nearly 4 decades ago has ignited a frenzy among treasure hunters and numismatists alike, who now scour coin rolls, yard sales, and estate auctions for the elusive and mysterious 1986 P Jefferson nickel that, by all appearances, seems just like any other but hides within it a staggering secret tied to minting anomalies, die errors, and rare transitional details that could elevate a 5-cent piece to a 5-figure fortune, and what makes it even more electrifying is the chilling realization that millions were produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year, but only a tiny fraction possessed the rare characteristics that define its most valuable variations. Whether it's a double die obverse that creates a ghostly second image of Jefferson's profile, or a full steps reverse that showcases an immaculate Monticello in such pristine detail it defies belief, or the ultra-rare off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and cud breaks that add both mystery and monetary heft to these otherwise humble nickels, and as we peel back the layers of 1986, a year marked by Cold War tensions, new technology, and economic shifts, we also uncover how the U.S. Mint, transitioning equipment and experimenting with new die pairs, inadvertently birthed several coin variants that would later become legendary, and it's these variants, once dismissed or circulated without thought, that now leave coin dealers speechless as auctions spiral into bidding wars where a seemingly average Jefferson nickel hammers for eye-watering sums, and perhaps most astonishing is the fact that a handful of these coins were found not in private collections or sealed bankrolls, but in pocket change, yes, literal everyday change, which means the potential to discover one is not just for the elite or the experts, but for anyone paying attention, and one verified 1986, P Jefferson nickel featuring a rare die clash error, where elements of the obverse and reverse are imprinted over each other in a haunting metallic echo, sold for over $4,000, and that's just the beginning because we haven't even discussed the coin with a repunched mint mark, a tiny extra, P, partially visible with magnification, that elevated its grade and value beyond expectations, or the off-metal strikes, where blanks meant for dimes or foreign currency were accidentally stamped with the nickel design, creating bizarre hybrid coins that leave graders baffled and collectors in awe, and if you think this is rare, consider this, some 1986, P Jefferson nickels have been discovered with planchet flaws, where the metal surface bubbles or cracks, sometimes in patterns so strange they resemble deliberate engravings, and in a world where the ordinary becomes extraordinary only when looked at with new eyes. These strange imperfections have become symbols of overlooked riches, and imagine holding one in your hand, a coin the world ignored, now transformed into a piece of history, a vessel of value, a portal into America's minting past, and all it takes is one find, one lucky moment, one mistake, because this one mistake could be worth thousands, and every day someone finds one more, someone who bothered to look a little closer, to question the faint doubling around Jefferson's eye, the missing letters in E pluribus unum, or the unnatural spacing between Monticello and the rim, and for every example authenticated by grading giants like PCGS and NGC, there are hundreds more waiting to be discovered in circulation, in rolls from the bank, or buried in forgotten collections handed down through generations, and if you think this is all speculation, think again, because documented sales, verified auctions, and direct testimonies from shocked collectors confirm the meteoric rise in value. And attention toward this unassuming year and mint mark, and as demand skyrockets and knowledge spreads, the chances of locating a valuable 1986 P Jefferson nickel diminish with each passing year, making now the most critical moment to begin your search, to examine your change, to ask your relatives about old coin jars, and to take seriously the whisper of history calling from a 5-cent coin minted in a time long past. And whether you're a first-time hobbyist or a seasoned numismatist, the 1986 P Jefferson nickel stands as a reminder that hidden treasure doesn't always come in gold and silver, it often comes in nickel and copper, masked in the mundane, waiting for a discerning eye, and don't forget, a coin recently graded MS-67 with full steps sold for nearly $5,500 because of its flawless strike and immaculate condition, and coins with similar pedigree are becoming near impossible to find, and as we dive deeper into the mysteries of the U.S. Mint's 1986 operations, we learn that certain die combinations were retired early due to excessive wear, making surviving specimens rare, while others produced just a handful of errors before being corrected, and in these narrow windows of production lie the keys to value, to rarity, to legacy, and as technology evolves, the numismatic community is better equipped than ever to detect errors invisible to the naked eye, which means that today, more than ever, your chance at finding a valuable 1986 P Jefferson nickel rests not in luck, but in vigilance, in curiosity, in the decision to care enough to look, and even now, rumors swirl of yet unconfirmed varieties, including possible reverse die trials and misplaced date punches, which, if verified, could send shockwaves through the coin world, shattering previous price records and elevating the 1986 P to legendary status alongside the 1955 double die and the 1943 copper penny. So if you've got a handful of nickels, pause, don't spend this until you watch all the way through, because one of those coins might just be your hidden treasure, your silent fortune, your overlooked miracle of American minting, and as you feel the weight of history in your palm and understand that a common coin could hold the power to change your life, know this: what separates trash from treasure is knowledge, and right now, you're holding the key. So subscribe for life-changing coin tips, never overlook your change again, and keep watching until the very end, because your journey into the world of forgotten riches is just beginning. Next, 2011, D Jefferson nickels, where what you thought was just an ordinary pocket change could in fact be the gateway to an astonishing mystery, a hidden treasure, and perhaps the most shocking coin story in American history. Because what if a small, almost invisible mistake turned a simple 2011 D Jefferson nickel into one of the most valuable coins ever struck in the United States? What if that tiny Denver minted 5-cent piece you casually passed along in a transaction, or worse, tossed into a jar without a second thought, is secretly worth tens of thousands, even millions of dollars, due to a rare minting anomaly so elusive, so incomprehensibly rare, that its very existence has ignited the numismatic world into a frenzy of speculation, obsession, and conspiracy? The 2011 D Jefferson nickel, a coin that was never supposed to stand out, never meant to stir collectors' hearts, has become the center of heated debates, wild theories, and thrilling discoveries, because somewhere in the massive mintage of over 398 million coins that left the Denver Mint that year, a tiny fraction, or perhaps only a single coin, was struck with a catastrophic error. The kind that transforms a mundane object into a legend whispered about in collectors' forums, auction houses, and late-night coin shows, and makes seasoned numismatists stop dead in their tracks, jaws slack, eyes wide, hearts pounding as they realize they might be holding an impossible anomaly, an unintentional masterpiece of minting failure that somehow survived the gauntlet of quality control, slipped through unnoticed, and now waits to be uncovered by someone just like you. Because this isn't just about a nickel, it's about how a rare die clash, off-center strike, misplaced mint mark, or even a double denomination error, rumored to exist after a mysterious coin surfaced showing signs of being struck over a Roosevelt dime, may have resulted from an overlooked mechanical failure deep within the walls of the Denver Mint, where overworked presses and human fatigue met at the worst possible moment, creating a variety so rare that it has only been confirmed in whispers. Stories of collectors who sold what they didn't understand for pocket change and buyers who grinned like they'd just stolen the Mona Lisa, and the deeper you go, the stranger it gets, because rumors have surfaced of a batch of 2011 D Jefferson nickels struck on improperly prepared planchets, including ones missing the nickel coating entirely, giving them a ghostly copper hue that puzzled everyone who saw them, including grading experts who debated whether it was environmental damage or an ultra-rare minting flaw. And then there are those tales of double strikes, off-metal compositions, and even rotated dies, all signs that something went terribly, or maybe perfectly, wrong in 2011, depending on your perspective. And then come the stories of the coins that disappeared, the bag of errors supposedly destroyed but never accounted for, the mysterious eBay listing that vanished within hours, the collector who claims to have seen a Jefferson nickel struck on a foreign planchet, its diameter slightly off, its weight inconsistent, but its provenance airtight, making it a ghost coin that some say was deliberately hidden to avoid a full-blown scandal within the US Mint. And all of this unfolds against a backdrop of a numismatic community obsessed with anomalies, a culture where even a tiny die crack or doubling can make values skyrocket and create legends, where the Jefferson nickel series, long considered plain and unremarkable, suddenly catches fire in the collecting world because of one overlooked year, 2011. One overlooked mint mark, D, and a series of discoveries so baffling, so emotionally charged, that collectors have reportedly spent years scouring bank rolls, attending coin shows, and buying up hundreds of examples in the desperate hope of finding the one, the mythical unicorn that exists in the gap between what we know and what we dare to imagine. And then you realize, the story isn't just about this coin, it's about the people drawn into its orbit, The retired treasury worker who stumbled across an odd 2011 D nickel while cashing in a jar of coins and began a years-long odyssey into the world of rare errors, eventually amassing a collection of hundreds of variations and being approached by private buyers offering more than $100,000 for a single piece. The young collector in Colorado who discovered a Jefferson nickel with doubling so intense it appeared as though Jefferson had a twin, and when submitted to grading, it sparked heated debate over whether this was the result of a hubbing anomaly or a previously undocumented variety altogether, and perhaps most haunting of all, the urban legend of the coin dealer in New Mexico who acquired a sealed mint bag marked 2011 D, only to vanish from the community weeks later after announcing that he had found something that would change the way we look at nickels forever. His shop shuttered, his phones disconnected, and the last message he posted on a numismatic forum simply reading, "They don't want you to know," leaving everyone wondering what he saw, what he held, and who, if anyone, silenced him. And as you dig deeper through historical records, auction house archives, and classified documents about mint operations, it becomes clear that the 2011 D Jefferson nickel is not merely a coin but a window into the imperfect machinery of history, a symbol of how the smallest deviation in a hyper-controlled environment can produce something extraordinary, something that reveals the fallibility of systems we trust to be flawless, and how that fallibility, when captured in metal, can become priceless. And suddenly, everything shifts, because this coin you ignored might hold more secrets than you ever imagined, tied to production processes the mint doesn't talk about, test strikes never documented, and planchets sourced under emergency contracts during metal shortages that led to inconsistencies no one wants to admit, because to admit them would be to validate the collectors who've spent years saying, "There's something different about 2011, those who keep finding tiny clues, die gouges, misplaced digits, subtly shifted rims, that suggest the Denver Mint had a problem that year, a problem so contained and yet so profound that the few coins that slipped through the cracks now hold not just monetary value, but historical weight, a tangible reminder that even in the most controlled systems, chaos finds a way to leave its mark, and if that mark is on your coin, you could be holding a once-in-a-lifetime error, a piece of history no one believed could exist, until now, so don't dismiss your change. Don't ignore the dull shimmer of a Jefferson nickel just because it doesn't glitter like silver or shine like gold, because this is a treasure hunt in the truest sense, where only the obsessed will find the truth, where the 2011 D Jefferson nickel may very well be the most mysterious and valuable nickel ever struck, and if you're holding one right now, it's time to take a closer look, because the next legendary discovery in numismatics might already be sitting quietly in your pocket, and its story, your story, is just beginning. So if you want to stay on this incredible journey with us and unlock more numismatic mysteries like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the community of truth seekers uncovering the hidden wealth in everyday coins.